Chapter 1639. She raised her head and saw a small wooden cabinet opposite her. The top of the cabinet was divided into many small compartments with different names. All of them were rare tea leaves. Mo Beiyi? The man's pleasant voice brought Gu Shengyin back to reality. She smiled. I am Mo Beiyi. Are you Qing Yu's brother? Her tone was very natural, as if she was facing a good friend's brother and not some underworld prince. In fact, the real Mo Beiyi would not know Yu Qingyun's identity. Yu Qingyun had not met someone who could talk to him so freely for a long time. He looked at the young master in front of him seriously. It had to be said that good-looking people always had privileges. At least now, Yu Qingyun looked at the beautiful young man who was sitting comfortably on the chair and squinting his eyes like a cat. His heart softened strangely. This was a rare thing for young Master Yu. Young Master Yu had always been a person who followed his heart. He thought for a while and stretched out his right hand. I am Yu Qing Yu's brother, Yu Qingyun. Yun as in Wen Ting Yun. If the buzz cut guy was beside him and saw this scene, he would probably widen his eyes. When did young master become so easy to talk to? And he even lowered himself to take the initiative to shake hands with him. Others did not know, but he had been with young master for so many years. He knew very well that although young master looked gentle and handsome on the outside, he was actually more arrogant than anyone else. If he did not like someone, no matter what, he would not even touch a finger of that person. This young man called Mo Beiyi, how did he catch young master's eye? It was not only the buzz-cut guy who did not understand. In fact, even Yu Qingyun himself did not know why his heart softened when he saw the young man. Gu Shengyin looked at the hand that was stretched out in front of her. This pair of hands was fair and beautiful, with slender joints. It was a pair of hands that could make people scream. She put her hand on top of it. It was the same fair and soft hand, but it looked much slimmer than the former's. When they held each other like this, it was exceptionally harmonious. Both sides formally greeted each other. Gu Shengyin went straight to the point. I don't know. Why are you looking for me? Yu Qingyun frowned slightly because of the way Gu Shengyin addressed her. With his status, there were many people who addressed him as Sir, and he was used to being addressed with honorifics. But that didn't include the young man in front of him. He felt that the person in front of him shouldn't be so distant. Change the way you address me. He spoke as his heart moved. Gu Shengyin? Is there a problem? She saw that the young man in front of her had a blank look on his face. His crystal-clear eyes reflected her own figure, and they were filled with pure confusion. Judging from his skills, this young man was clearly an expert. But when he looked at people, he always had a pure naivety. Such a contrast had a strong attraction to most people. Yu Qingyun felt that she had probably become one of these people. He said gently, You are Qingyue's good friend. You can call me Big Brother, or Big Brother Yu. Gu Shengyin blinked. She deeply felt that Yu Qingyue was probably tricking her on purpose. The person in front of her was obviously easy to talk to. Yu Qingyue. I'm not taking the blame for this. Chapter 1640. Gu Shengyin readily accepted his advice and said with a smile, Brother Yu. It was okay to call him Brother Yu, but he couldn't bring himself to call him Brother Yu. Gu Shengyin felt relieved when he felt that the other party didn't want to cause trouble for him. The environment here was good and the atmosphere was great. It was like a different world from the bustling and fast-paced city of southern Sichuan. Gu Shengyin took a deep breath in satisfaction as he sniffed the tea fragrance in the room. He closed his eyes and revealed a satisfied smile. Yu Qingyun looked at the young man sitting across from him without blinking. His eyes were closed. At this distance, with Yu Qingyun's eyesight, he could clearly see the young man's long and thick eyelashes. They were like small fans covering the young man's eyes. They trembled slightly with the owner's eyes. Yu Qingyun's gaze moved down and fell on the young man's lips. He remembered reading a foreign poem a long time ago. In the poem, the poet used a metaphor to describe his first love. Her sweet lips were like rose petals in the morning dew, beautiful and fragrant. At that time, Yu Qingyun scoffed at this. He thought that only people who blindly fell in love would have beautiful eyes. How could there be such a beautiful person in this world? But now, Yu Qingyun felt that he was wrong. The young man's lips weren't thin. They were slightly pouted. The color was between a light pink and a gorgeous red. The shape of his lips was perfect. It made people want to go up and taste it. Yu Qingyun's expression changed. He actually had a physiological reaction to a young man he just met for the first time. Yu Qingyun's body moved slightly and he inadvertently changed his sitting position. At this time, Gu Xingyin felt his gaze. She then remembered that there was someone sitting across from her. She was a bit embarrassed. Yu Qingyun just looked at her and asked, "I saw you looking at the tea when you came in. Do you know tea?" Of course, Gu Xingyin knew about it. In fact, he was quite proficient in it. Mo Bei also learned some tea from his grandmother when he was young. It was just that he didn't have time to study it. Hearing Yu Qingyun's question, Gu Xingyin nodded. "I know a little." Yu Qingyue smiled. Then, "Kitano-suk, do you mind brewing a pot of tea for me?" Gu Xingyin saw that Yu Qingyun liked tea. She also had the idea of making friends with him. She nodded. "I can try." Gu Xingyin stood up just as the water on the stove was boiling. Yu Qingyun was still sitting there, his gaze firmly locked onto the figure that was slightly bent over to make tea. Gu Xingyin's movements could be described as smooth as flowing water. It could be seen that she did not only know a thing or two as she claimed. Without more than 10 years of hard work, one would not be able to achieve this level of maturity. Chapter 1641. When he raised his head again, Yu Qingyun met Gu Xingyin's puzzled gaze. "What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" Gu Xingyin asked. Yu Qingyun calmly said, "I'm fine." Seeing that he was fine, Gu Xingyin continued to make tea. This time, Yu Qingyun's gaze was serious as he watched the youth use his white jade-like hands to hold the teapot. The clear water turned into a thin line as it poured into the cup filled with tea leaves. In an instant, mist like water rose from the cup. At the same time, the mist spread out and lingered around the entire tea room. A trace of admiration flashed through Yu Qingyun's eyes. He loved tea and understood tea. So he always had a good impression of people who were proficient in this technique. Not to mention, he already had a good impression of Gu Xingyin. Gu Xingyin placed a cup of tea in front of Yu Qingyun. "Try it." She also held a cup in her hand and sat across from Yu Qingyun. Gently brushing away the foam, Gu Xingyin took a sip of the tea in the cup. Her eyes lit up. At the same time, Yu Qingyun's praise sounded. "Good technique." Gu Xingyin lightly smiled and shook her head. "It's good tea. If it wasn't for these top-quality tea leaves, it wouldn't have been able to make such an effect." Yu Qingyun shook her head. "No, if there wasn't someone who could make tea, this tea would have been wasted." The two looked at each other and smiled. That afternoon, Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyun chatted for a long time. The more they talked, the more amazed Yu Qingyun was. Her eyes were full of splendor as she looked at the youth in front of her. He was clearly so young and his sister Qingyue was addicted to comic books all day long. But Mo Bei seemed to understand everything. And this kind of understanding wasn't superficial, but true mastery. Until Gu Xingyin received a call from home. Old Madame Mo worriedly asked why she hadn't returned home yet. Speaking of which, the Mo family's attitude towards Gu Xingyin had completely changed since they found out that their grandson was not their grandson but their granddaughter. Sons were meant to be trained, while daughters were meant to be spoiled. What's more, this daughter of his had been treated unfairly for more than 10 years. Now, Gu Xingyin was treated like the apple of everyone's eye in the Mo family. She was the kind of person who would not even give her the moon if she asked for it. However, she wasn't spoiled at all. Instead, she changed her previous rebellious attitude and became extremely obedient. This made her even more lovable. Usually, Gu Xingyin would return home on time after school. Today, it was already dark and she still hadn't returned home. Naturally, her family was worried. After Gu Xingyin answered the call, he casually said a few words before hanging up. She raised her head, but before she could say anything, Yu Qingyun said considerately, "I didn't think it through and made your family worry." Gu Xingyin smiled. "I forgot to tell my family." Yu Qingyun stood up. "Let me send you home." Gu Xingyin glanced at the dark night sky outside and didn't refuse. She wasn't old enough to own a car yet. It was much more convenient for Yu Qingyun to send her home rather than taking a taxi. When Gu Shengyin stepped out of the door, she saw the buzz-cut young man standing outside. When he heard that the young master was going to personally send Gu Shengyin home, the buzz-cut young man was dumbfounded. He had been with the young master for so many years. Why didn't he know that the young master was such a warm-hearted person? He followed behind and watched from afar as the young master personally opened the car door for Mo Bei. The young master turned around and looked at him, who was in a daze. "You can go home on your own. You don't have to follow me." Chapter 1642. The crew-cut young man felt that he might have seen a fake young master. However, he didn't dare say anything in front of Yu Qingyun. He obediently watched as the low-key black car disappeared into the night. When Gu Shengyin got out of the car, Yu Qingyun called out to her. He handed Gu Shengyin a business card. "My contact information is on it. If you need anything in the future, you can look for me." Gu Shengyin glanced at it. She didn't seem to realize what the business card meant at all. She smiled and took it. "Okay." She got out of the car and turned around to wave at Yu Qingyun. Yu Qingyun watched as her voice disappeared before he turned the car around and drove away. The next day, the moment Gu Shengyin entered the school, she saw Yu Qingyue waiting outside the classroom. Yu Qingyue looked a little nervous. When she saw Gu Shengyin, she hurriedly pulled her to the side. There were a few students passing by. When they saw this scene, a tacit smile appeared on their faces. Yu Qingyue didn't care about their misunderstanding. She pulled her a little nervously and asked, "My brother didn't do anything to you yesterday, right?" Gu Shengyin was speechless. "Girl, your words sound very misleading." She asked in confusion. "What could he do to me?" Yu Qingyue heaved a sigh of relief when she saw her like this. Last night, when Yu Qingyue's brother came home, she was sitting in the living room eating chips. Yu Qingyun frowned. "I told you to eat less junk food." Yu Qingyue smiled obsequiously. "I just ate a little." "Oh yeah, brother, why did you come home so late today?" Her brother had OCD. He basically didn't come home at a fixed time, so this situation was very abnormal. Yu Qingyue took off her suit jacket and said, "I went to see Mo Bei." Yu Qingyue was speechless. She looked at her brother sitting on the sofa and gulped. She said carefully, "Then, brother, you and him?" Yu Qingyun looked at his sister's nervous face and knew that she was worried about Mo Bei. He didn't know why, but he felt a little unhappy. He said faintly, "I chatted with him for a while. I think he's a good person." Being fancied by his brother was not something worth celebrating. At least, that was what Yu Qingyun knew. She still wanted to ask about the situation in a roundabout way, but was chased back to her bedroom by Yu Qingyun. Yu Qingyue, who had been on tenterhooks all night, woke up early in the morning and rushed to school. Seeing the undisguised worry on her face, Gu Shengyin felt warmth in his heart. But then he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was her brother that scary in this girl's heart? She felt that Yu Qingyun was quite good. When she said this, she saw Yu Qingyue's expression as if she had seen a ghost. Yu Qingyue thought she might be hallucinating. "You think my brother is a good person?" Gu Shengyin nodded her head. "His looks are perfect, his temperament is outstanding, his demeanor is elegant, he is knowledgeable and knowledgeable. Most importantly, your brother is very amiable and gentlemanly. He even personally sent me home." Yu Qingyue, "I'm probably hallucinating. No, other than hallucinating, I might also be hallucinating. In this world, there was actually someone who admired her brother so much? Forget about the description at the beginning. After all, her brother's appearance and temperament were indeed good. But the latter part, amiable? Gentlemanly? What the hell was that? Did her brother have that kind of thing?" Chapter 1643. Gu Shengyin was a little suspicious when he saw Yu Qingyue's shocked expression in front of him. Yu Qingyue held Gu Shengyin's hand and said earnestly, "Bei, you must keep your eyes open. Don't be fooled by my brother's facade. Let me tell you, he is a..." She frowned as she said this, as if she was afraid of something and did not continue. Gu Shengyin looked at Yu Qingyue suspiciously. She still could not understand why Yu Qingyue seemed so repulsed by her brother. Could it be that Yu Qingyue was like Mo Bei in the past, a teenager? Was that why she was so rebellious and repulsed by her parents who tried so hard to persuade her? Gu Xingyin thought about it carefully and felt that she might have found the truth. However, this was between the two siblings and she could not say anything. She could only smile at Yu Qingyue. Yu Qingyue looked at Gu Xingyin's expression of understanding. She thought that Gu Xingyin had taken her advice and was very satisfied. Therefore, both parties thought that they had found the truth and ended the conversation happily. Gu Xingyin did not see Yu Qingyun for a period of time after that. Yu Qingyue was happy to see this. She thought that her brother had gone to see Bei previously and treated him so gentlemanly. She thought that her brother was having a fit. Now, it was obvious that her brother had returned to normal and lost interest in Bei. But in reality, Yu Qingyue was still too naive. Yu Qingyun was only hesitating during this period of time. When he finally made up his mind, it would be time for him to make his move. Yen, Grandma has something to ask you. Old Madam Mo and Old Master Mo had been staying in Chuannan City for the past 2 months because of their granddaughter's matter. They did not return to the small city they had settled down in. Gu Xingyin replied obediently, "Go ahead." When they were at home, they all called her Mo Bin. Old Madam Mo and the rest felt that it would be fine if they didn't know about Bei Yan's identity in the past. However, now that they knew about Bei Yan's true identity, they still called her Bei Yi in a house where no one else was around. It was a form of harm to her. Old Madam Mo looked at her granddaughter's neat short hair and loose white t-shirt. She couldn't help but feel a little sad. Girls of this age were at the age where they cared about their appearance. Which one of them didn't wear a skirt and secretly put on makeup? She collected her thoughts and said lovingly to Gu Xin, "Your grandfather and I plan to return to South City in the near future. We want to ask if you want to go back to South City with us?" Nanqing was where Old Madam Mo and her husband had settled down. This was the result of a discussion between Old Madam Mo and Old Master Mo. If Gu Xingyin followed him to Nanqing, no one would recognize her there. Everything could start over, and she could live like a normal girl. Moreover, they were worried that the events of the past few years would cast a shadow in their granddaughter's heart. They thought that a change of environment would be better. However, Gu Xingyin did not have such concerns. Her mission target was still in Chuannan City. Of course, there was no longer any conflict between her and Yu Qingyue. There was also, Gu Xingyin collected her thoughts and said with a smile, "I think I'll continue to stay in Chuannan. I'm used to the teachers and classmates in school. Next year is the college entrance exam. I'm afraid I won't be used to a new place." Chapter 1644. For a rich kid like Mo Bei, having a diploma wasn't that important. However, having such an excellent piece of paper was still something to be proud of. Their granddaughter did not seem to have done anything wrong because of that incident. Since she was so motivated, the two elders of the Mo family naturally had no reason to take her away. Despite their reluctance, Gu Xingyin could only promise several times that she would be there to accompany them during the summer break. In the following days, she spent her days studying and having fun as usual. The only change was that Yu Qingyue and Gu Xingyin's relationship was getting better. On Friday night, Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue agreed to go shopping together the next day. After hanging up the phone, she heard the system's emotional voice. The host's ability to turn enemies into best friends is really extraordinary. Gu Xingyin smiled and replied, "You're flattering me." She was already used to the system's occasional sighs. Moreover, Gu Xingyin felt that as he experienced more missions and became more familiar with the system seemed to be no longer as cold as it was in the beginning. Although its voice was still calm and emotionless, there was not a trace of emotion. However, the words that he spoke sounded a little more humane. She did not know if it was an illusion, but Gu Xingyin kept this matter in her heart. The next day, Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue agreed to meet at 9 o'clock in the morning. After breakfast and saying goodbye to her family, Gu Xingyin refused to let the family's chauffeur send her. She simply hailed a taxi and left. "Bei!" Yu Qingyue looked at Mo Bei and waved. Gu Xingyin walked over. Although it was called shopping, it was basically Yu Qingyue shopping while Gu Xingyin occasionally gave her advice and carried her bags. At first, Yu Qingyue subconsciously complained, "It's rare for us to go shopping together. Why are you just watching me shop?" Then, she remembered Gu Xingyin's current state. She felt awkward. Yu Qingyue stuck out her tongue in embarrassment. I'm sorry, Bei. I forgot about you, Gu Xin shook her head. I don't care. I'll just buy some clothes later. Yu Qingyue quickly shook her head and said with a serious face, You are so handsome. How can you buy clothes casually? She glanced at Gu Xingyin and suddenly smiled. She leaned forward and whispered, Although it's a pity that I can't see you in women's clothes, you're so good-looking. Even if you wear men's clothes, you'll still be able to beat a bunch of handsome guys. I'll be your advisor later. I'll definitely buy 2 sets to make you even more attractive. Gu Xingyin face-bombed. Whatever. She compromised so easily because she understood Yu Qingyue's character. This young lady was probably very favored at home. If you didn't agree to her goal, she would have 100 ways to make you have no choice but to agree. Chapter 1645. The two of them went shopping in the morning and bought several sets of clothes. They ate lunch together and went to the amusement park in the afternoon. After a day, Gu Xingyin felt that the holiday was much more tiring than school. Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue only parted ways when the sky turned dark. The two of them went home separately. When Yu Qingyue got home, she found her older brother sitting on the sofa in an unusual manner. Seeing her come home, Yu Qingyue said slowly, You're back. Yu Qingyue expressed that she was flattered by this sudden concern. She handed the things in her hands to the nanny to carry back to her room. She poured herself a glass of orange juice and sat on the sofa. I'm so tired. Yu Qingyun's face didn't show any emotions. He only asked, Tired? Did you have fun? Yu Qingyue took a sip of her drink and answered casually, I had fun. But after she answered, she felt a little strange. Although she didn't feel any unhappiness from her brother's tone, based on her 10 years of experience with her brother, Yu Qingyue subconsciously felt that her brother was in a bad mood. As soon as this thought came to her mind, Yu Qingyue's entire body tensed up. She even became careful when she drank her drink. She didn't dare make a sound. Although her brother doted on her a lot, no one wanted to provoke an angry Yu Qingyun. She finished the drink in one gulp and immediately stood up with a smile. Brother, I just remembered that I have a lot of homework this weekend. I'll go upstairs and do it first. Sit down. Yu Qingyun only said these 2 words, which successfully made Yu Qingyue freeze and sit back down. Oh no. Originally, it was just a hunch. But now, Yu Qingyue was sure that her brother was unhappy. And the reason for his unhappiness was most likely related to her. God wants me to die. Yu Qingyue tried hard to recall what she had done recently. She really didn't provoke the devil. Yu Qingyue, I didn't teach you that puppy love is wrong, said Yu Qingyun indifferently. Huh? Yu Qingyue was confused. She thought about it carefully and answered honestly, No. Yu Qingyun. He didn't say anything, but Yu Qingyue felt a little cold around her. Yu Qingyue cursed under her breath and immediately revealed a flattering smile. Brother, you see, you were the one who raised me since I was young, right? You've taught me so well, how could I not know that puppy love is wrong? I don't need you to teach me that. Yu Qingyun nodded. Your flattery is not bad. Yu Qingyue was overjoyed, thinking that she had escaped a calamity. The next moment her brother spoke again. But no matter how beautiful your words are, you still have to be punished if you do something wrong. Yu Qingyue. Yu Qingyun's sharp eyes looked at Yu Qingyue. I'll give you a chance to confess. What is your relationship with Mo Bei? Why did it involve Bei Yi again? Yu Qingyue couldn't understand her brother's train of thought. She answered instinctively, Me and Bei Yi? It doesn't matter, does it? Yu Qingyun looked at her. Thinking of her brother's words, Yu Qingyue immediately understood that her brother must have misunderstood her. She had to clarify as soon as possible. Yu Qingyue quickly said, Brother, you really have to believe me this time. I admit that at first, I was enlightened by his beauty and had some inexplicable feelings for Bei Yi. But soon I realized that Bei Yi and I are really pure and good friends. The pair of good friends. The kind that can't be any purer. Chapter 1646. After Yu Qingyue said this, she looked at her brother nervously. Actually, she didn't understand why her brother had such a big reaction to the news of puppy love. In the beginning, he didn't even care. When Yu Qingyun heard Yu Qingyue's words, he slowly repeated his sister's words. Good friends? Yu Qingyue nodded profusely. Yes, I don't think there's anything ambiguous about it. She thought about it and decided to sell her friend out for her own safety. Brother, you've seen Bei before. She's even prettier than me. If I were to find a boyfriend like her, wouldn't I be looking for trouble? If I were to meet someone on the road, I don't think they'd be interested in me. Yu Qingyun's gaze swept across Yu Qingyue's face and he nodded in agreement. You do know your place. Yu Qingyue was speechless. Brother, you're really my biological brother. How could you mock your biological sister like this? But at least they were over this hurdle. Yu Qingyue had just heaved a sigh of relief when she heard her brother say, but in the past, you were the one who said you were heartbroken and wanted to teach that guy a lesson. Yu Qingyue was speechless. She wished she could transmigrate back in time and slap herself in the face. Why did she have to complain about such a small matter? Yu Qingyue swore that she wasn't even as nervous as she was when she faced her class teacher. She smiled and said, "Weren't I young back then? I've never been in a relationship before, so when I saw a good-looking guy, I thought I liked him. Actually, I'm fine with it. Brother, if I really liked Bei, why would I be good friends with her?" In her heart, she was actually saying, I want to like her, but she's the same gender as me. When Yu Qingyun heard this, he was finally satisfied. He asked, in other words, you don't like Mo Bei at all. You're just normal friends with him? Yu Qingyue nodded. Yu Qingyun said, that's good. Yu Qingyue was speechless. Yu Qingyun said casually, because I like him and want to pursue him. Yu Qingyue was speechless. Her mouth was agape, as if this was the first time she had met her brother. This sesame stuffing was evil. But that was not the main point. Yu Qingyue looked strangely conflicted. But brother, Bei is a man. She was still loyal and did not reveal Gu Shengyin's biggest secret. Yu Qingyun glanced at her. So what? So what? Who would dare to say anything about what Yu Qingyun wanted to do? Yu Qingyue felt a headache coming on. To be honest, she didn't think her brother was a good lover at all. It was rare for her to see eye to eye with Mo Bei. She did not want her good friend to be ruined. If Yu Qingyun could hear her sister's inner thoughts, she would probably be so angry that she wanted to beat her up. How could she mock her own brother like that? Yu Qingyue said tentatively, our father won't allow you to find a man. Yu Qingyun said, you don't have to worry about that. I naturally have a way to solve it. Yu Qingyue put up a final struggle. I remember that you don't like men. Yu Qingyun said faintly, I've never liked a woman, who knows? Yu Qingyue, my friend, this is all I can help you with. Yu Qingyue looked at her sister suspiciously. You look like you don't want me to like Mo Bei? Chapter 1647. Yu Qingyue thought to herself, isn't that right? I really don't want you to harm her. However, she had always been a coward in front of her brother, so when her brother glanced at her coldly, she immediately shut her mouth. Yu Qingyun was very satisfied with his sister's tactfulness. He stood up and said, I still have something to do, so I'll go take care of it. Have a good rest. Yu Qingyue silently watched as her brother's figure disappeared down the stairs. The next day, Gu Shengyin saw Yu Qingyue, who looked like she wanted to say something. You didn't sleep well last night? She asked suspiciously. The dark circles under Yu Qingyue's eyes were so obvious that she couldn't ignore it. Yu Qingyue looked at the delicious Gu Shengyin, lamented in her heart that the handsome young man was going to be eaten by her brother, the big bad wolf. She looked at Gu Shengyin uneasily and said, Bei Yi, I have something to ask you. Gu Shengyin nodded and said, go ahead. Yu Qingyue looked at Gu Shengyin and asked, do you have any thoughts of dating? Gu Shengyin hesitated for a moment at the question. She looked at Yu Qingyue strangely, wondering if she still hadn't given up after knowing that she was a girl. She didn't hide her expression, so Yu Qingyue immediately saw through her. Yu Qingyue was speechless. She said unhappily, don't worry, I'm not interested in the same gender. Gu Shengyin was finally relieved. She pointed at herself. Look at me now. Boys won't like me because I'm also a boy. If girls like me, I won't be together with them. Do you think I'll have the idea of falling in love? Yu Qingyue thought about it and agreed, But her brother didn't care about this. She asked again, "Then, what if someone doesn't care about your gender and wants to be with you?" Gu Shengyin thought that someone was confessing to her through Yu Qingyue. She said without hesitation, "I'm not interested. I have someone I like." Yu Qingyue's mood didn't improve because of this answer. This was because her brother had never failed to get what he wanted. But when she looked at Gu Shengyin in front of her, she couldn't bring herself to say, "My brother likes you." In the end, she left with a conflicted expression. Gu Shengyin looked at her back view in confusion. So, why did Yu Qingyue ask her to come here? Yu Qingyue knew that her brother wouldn't let her go, but she didn't expect him to act so quickly. After school, she happened to be looking for Gu Shengyin. When she arrived at Gu Shengyin's class, she was told that Mo Bei had been taken away. Not long after Yu Qingyue walked out of the school gate, she met the man with the buzz cut. Seeing her, the buzz cut man walked over and said, "Young master asked my miss to go home." Yu Qingyue looked at the buzz cut man in surprise. "Why are you here?" "Tease of the tease of." Qingyin nodded. Yu Qingyue sighed in her heart. What a beast. Qingyin looked at Yu Qingyue's expression and lowered his head. "Young master asked me to escort you home and pass a message to you." Yu Qingyue felt that it wasn't something good, but she still asked, "What message?" Qingyin replied, "Tell Yu Qingyue to go back by herself. Also, don't meddle in his business." His business probably meant that he wanted to pursue Gu Shengyin. Chapter 1648. Yu Qingyue said angrily, "Does he think that my sister is a troublemaker?" As soon as she asked the question, she realized who she was asking. Yu Qingyue looked at the man with the buzz cut, who seemed to be struggling to say something. She suddenly said, "Stop answering." This guy was one of her brother's most honest men. Yu Qingyue was very afraid that he would really say yes. On the other hand, Gu Shengyin didn't know about Yu Qingyue's dilemma. She saw Yu Qingyun standing by the flower bed not long after she left the classroom. Gu Shengyin went to Chuanan First High School, which was the best high school in Chuanan City. The school management was very strict. During class, outsiders were not allowed to enter. But Yu Qingyun just had to appear here. Gu Shengyin wasn't surprised. Rules were usually set by a small group of people and served a small group of people. Powerful to such an extent as Yu Qingyun, ordinary rules really did not count for much in his eyes. Yu Qingyun wasn't dressed very formally. Instead, he was dressed very casually. Yu Qingyun seemed to be different from the gentleman whom Gu Shengyin saw in the tea room last time. Yu Qingyun, who was dressed casually, walked on campus. She looked like a college student who was still in school. While Gu Shengyin was walking in his direction, he saw at least two girls walking over to strike up a conversation with him. However, Yu Qingyun rejected them. "What a coincidence to meet you here." Gu Shengyin greeted him with a smile. She asked, "Are you here for Qingyue? She should be coming down soon." Yu Qingyun looked at the young man in front of him and shook his head. "No, I'm here for you." "For me?" Gu Shengyin was surprised. "Why are you looking for me?" she asked. Yu Qingyun suddenly turned around. "Come with me." He turned and walked toward the school gate. Gu Shengyin followed behind in confusion and asked, "Aren't we waiting for Qingyue?" Even though Yu Qingyun was her biological sister, Yu Qingyun was still a little unhappy when she heard Yu Qingyue call her Qingyue. He said lightly, "Qingyue has someone to send her back." Gu Shengyin didn't say anything. She didn't know where Yu Qingyun was taking her, but she knew that this man wouldn't do anything bad to her. At the school gate, a familiar black car was parked there. Gu Shengyin's sharp eyes noticed that it was the car that Yu Qingyun drove the last time. Yu Qingyun opened the car door for her. His meaning couldn't be more obvious. Gu Shengyin frowned. "I thought that if you invited me to do something, you should at least tell me your purpose." There were very few people who could say such righteous words in front of the eldest young master of the Yu family. But Yu Qingyun wasn't angry. In his eyes, the person in front of him was different from the others. So he said in a low voice, "Sorry, I didn't make it clear to you. I've prepared a surprise for you." Gu Shengyin was surprised. "For me?" Yu Qingyun nodded. He still kept the position of opening the car door. Gu Shengyin hesitated for a moment, but she still got in. A faint smile appeared on Yu Qingyun's face. He walked to the driver's seat and sat down. He glanced sideways at Gu Shengyin and suddenly leaned forward. Gu Shengyin's breath stopped for a moment. Chapter 1649. The person beside her was very close to her. He was so close that Gu Shengyin could see his eyelashes clearly. The man's breath instantly invaded Gu Shengyin's world, and her whole body was tense because of this strange invasion. There was a warm breath on her neck. Then, Yu Qingyun fastened the seatbelt for Gu Shengyin. He stepped back, and the invisible aura that enveloped Gu Shengyin seemed to disappear. He didn't seem to notice Gu Shengyin's unnaturalness. Yu Qingyun said, "No matter what car you take in the future, remember to fasten your seatbelt." His tone was not very strict, but Gu Shengyin felt like a primary school student facing the head teacher. She nodded obediently. Yu Qingyun stopped talking. The car started, and soft light music sounded in this quiet space, which relieved Gu Shengyin's previous nervousness. Yu Qingyun saw that she seemed to be relieved from the corner of his eye, and the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. By the way, his tone was neither fast nor slow, and his voice was low and magnetic. Listening to it like this, it was very enjoyable. "The place I'm taking you to is a little far. You can tell your family in advance." Gu Shengyin asked subconsciously, "How long will it take?" Yu Qingyue smiled and said, "Maybe we can't go back until night." Gu Shengyin nodded and took out her mobile phone to make a call. Because today was Friday, the school was closed 2 classes earlier than usual, and it was still very early. Yu Qingyun heard Gu Shengyin say on the phone that she was going out with her friends and might be home late. When Gu Shengyin hung up the phone, he asked, "You trust me so much. Aren't you afraid that I'll sell you?" Gu Shengyin was amused by his words. She looked at Yu Qingyun and asked, "Will you?" Her eyes were big and clear, and her pupils were very dark. When she looked at people like this, the other party could easily see their own shadow in her eyes. Yu Qingyun was stunned for a moment before replying, "No." Gu Shengyin laughed. "Isn't that enough?" Yu Qingyun didn't speak again. She just held the steering wheel tightly with both hands. He was afraid that he would not be able to stop himself from stepping on the brakes, fiercely hugging the person beside him, and then, "Hold it in, Yu Qingyun, you'll scare him." Yu Qingyun forced herself to calm down in her mind. Damn it, did Emobe know how innocent and seductive she looked when she was looking at him with her head tilted to the side and smiling? How attractive would it be to him? Gu Shengyin obviously did not know. Perhaps even if she knew, she wouldn't think that it was her fault. It's obviously your head that's full of impure thoughts. The car drove for about an hour and left the city. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be alarmed. After all, no matter what, this was the first time the two of them had met. However, when Yu Qingyun looked at Gu Shengyin beside her, there was no hesitation on her face. She trusted him without any hesitation. Realizing this, Yu Qingyun felt something warm fermenting in his heart. He couldn't help but show a gentle smile on his face. Gu Shengyin just happened to see this smile. She was stunned for a moment, and then she blushed and looked away. Not only was he so good-looking, but his smile was also so seductive. Was he seducing her? Or was he seducing her? "We're here." Just as Gu Shengyin's imagination was running wild, Yu Qingyun reminded Gu Shengyin. Chapter 1650. Gu Shengyin came back to her senses. She got out of the car and looked up to see a very large manor. "This is..." She was surprised. Yu Qingyun said concisely, "I bought a manor a few years ago." Gu Shengyin silently looked at it. Yes, Chuannan City was a very developed city in the country. It was not inferior to the capital. Although this was a suburb and was not as expensive as the city center, it could still be considered expensive. How rich would one have to be to buy a manor here? She followed Yu Qingyun inside. As soon as they entered, a cool breeze hit them. Gu Shengyin felt that the heat on her body had dissipated a lot. Compared to the heat outside, this was a paradise that everyone yearned for in the summer. When they came in, Gu Shengyin realized how big this place was. As she walked forward, her gaze suddenly froze, and even her breathing stopped. Looking up, it was a lotus pond that she could not see the end of. It was the season for lotus flowers to bloom. Countless pink and white lotus flowers swayed with the breeze on the round green lotus leaves. The entire air was filled with the faint fragrance of lotus flowers. Yu Qingyun looked at her and stopped. Seeing her reaction, he was very satisfied. He explained, "Do you like it? When I bought the farmstead a few years ago, I had someone plant it. When I saw you last time, although I didn't ask, I felt that you would probably like lotus flowers, so I took the liberty to invite you over to take a look. The flowering period is just right. After a while, it won't be so beautiful." In fact, Yu Qingyun felt that his feeling was very strange. He had only met the youth in front of him once, but when he looked at him, he felt a strange sense of familiarity. He felt that he should know him very well. He did not know where this illusion came from. For example, this lotus pond. When he bought this place to build a manor, his first thought when he saw this living water lake was to plant lotus flowers in it. He felt that there would be someone who would accompany him to see it in the future. That kind of feeling was very strange, but Yu Qingyun rarely did not consider the benefits and followed her own heart. When she saw Gu Shengyin for the first time, Yu Qingyun felt that she might have found the person who could accompany her to see the lotus flowers. When he brought Gu Shengyin here, he was still a little uncertain. What if she didn't like it? But now that he saw Gu Shengyin's reaction, his heart suddenly calmed down. It seemed that he had made the right move. Gu Shengyin just stood there in a daze. She thought back to the end of the last world. Before He Lu left, he looked at her with regret, saying that he had planted a pond full of lotus flowers for her, but he couldn't accompany her to see them. So now, was Yu Qingyun trying to make up for the regrets of her previous life? Even if he didn't have any memories, his subconscious still remembered that he owed her a pond of lotus flowers? Yu Qingyun kept looking at Gu Shengyin. When he saw her happy and sad expression, his heart was a little uncertain. He walked to Gu Shengyin's side and softly asked her, "You don't like it?" Gu Shengyin came back to her senses and looked at him. She smiled and said, "No, I like it very much." She looked at the endless green in the distance and said in a light voice, "I like lotus flowers the most." Yu Qingyun heard this and also smiled. "It's good that you like it." Chapter 1651. Someone had already prepared the food in the villa. The main dish was lotus leaf rice, shredded chicken, tofu with minced meat, stewed beef with tomatoes, cucumber, and other cold dishes. There was a pavilion built in the middle of the lotus pond. Sitting in the pavilion, it was as if they were in a world of lotuses. Even when they breathed, they were occupied by the lotus fragrance. Gu Shengyin enjoyed taking a deep breath of the lotus fragrance. Feeling the cool breeze coming from the lake, she narrowed her eyes in satisfaction. She smiled at Yu Qingyun, who was unwrapping the lotus leaf rice. "You really know how to enjoy yourself, right? If I take a picture of this scene today and send it to my friends, I'll probably be envied to death." Yu Qingyun put the lotus leaf rice in a bowl and handed it to Gu Shengyin. He smiled and said, "If you like, you can come here often." He casually said, "Anyway, I'm usually busy with this place, so I don't have time to appreciate it. Rather than letting them wither here, it's better to let you, someone who knows how to appreciate them, take a good look." Gu Shengyin couldn't refuse his words. Even if she knew that this was just a reason for the person in front of her to stay, Gu Shengyin was still willing to jump in. She smiled and nodded. "Then I'll remember what you said. If I come here every day during the summer vacation, don't think I'm annoying." Yu Qingyue picked up a clean pair of chopsticks and gave her some food. Hearing this, he only smiled. "How could I dislike you?" Gu Shengyin ate a mouthful of lotus leaf rice. The fragrance of the rice mixed with the faint lotus leaf fragrance was just right. Delicious. Her eyes lit up as she praised. It was clear that there was a chef living in this villa that was rarely visited. "It's good that you like it." The environment was very good, the food was very delicious, and there was a pleasing handsome man sitting across from her. Gu Shengyin expressed that she was very satisfied with this dinner. The only bad thing was that she ate too much. Yu Qingyun couldn't help but turn her head and chuckle when she saw her rubbing her stomach in a depressed manner. At this moment, the sun was setting in the west, and the entire sky was dyed red. Even the entire world seemed to be plated with a layer of orange. The beauty tilted her head and smiled. Under the dim light, Gu Shengyin could clearly feel her heart beating for the person in front of her. She looked away unnaturally and muttered, "If you want to laugh, just laugh. Don't hold it in." As soon as he finished speaking, the person opposite him laughed out loud. Gu Shengyin, he really didn't give him any face at all. In the end, Gu Shengyin was dragged out for a walk by Yu Qingyun. Gu Shengyin was still resisting. After all, it was the ultimate pursuit of a lazy foodie to lie on the stool and enjoy the beautiful scenery after eating. But Yu Qingyun cruelly forced her to stand up. Chapter 1652. As if it was a coincidence, when Yu Qingyun finished speaking, the last bit of light in the sky disappeared. Night had completely fallen. But beside Gu Shengyin, another layer of light lit up. As if an invisible switch had been turned on, faint lights began to light up around her, moving into the distance. A belt of light extended out just like that. This light wasn't very bright, but it was enough for people to see everything around them. The entire villa was lit up by the same light. Unlike the lotus pond that covered the sky and covered the earth during the day, when one looked at it under the light at night, it didn't have the stunning beauty that it had during the day. Instead, it had a different kind of graceful gentleness. She was like a beauty in a formal dress during the day who had removed her exquisite makeup and changed into plain clothes. She was still as gentle and charming as ever. "It's really beautiful." Gu Shengyin didn't hide her love for it at all. Yu Qingyun turned his head to look at the smiling Gu Shengyin. If it was him, he definitely wouldn't be in the mood to do these things. But looking at the smile on the face in front of him, he suddenly felt that it was all worth it. It wasn't over yet. He softly said, "Open your eyes, there's something even more beautiful." Gu Shengyin was a bit confused. There's more? What could be more beautiful than this? Although she was confused, her heart was filled with anticipation. "Look." Following his words, the light around him suddenly dimmed. At the same time, countless fireflies slowly rose from the lotus pond. Gu Shengyin couldn't count how many there were, because as far as the eye could see, there were small fireflies dancing in the night, displaying their beauty that belonged to the night. How many fireflies were there? In this world, fireflies were becoming rarer and rarer. They were almost nowhere to be seen in the city. Although the suburbs were a bit better, it couldn't be this scary. How did Yu Qingyun do it? Heavens! Gu Shengyin couldn't use words to describe her shock at this moment. When she was the death god, she had also created a similar surprise for Qiao Zhihe. But that time, he had completely cheated, and the scale was far less shocking than what Yu Qingyun had displayed in front of him. After all, Yu Qingyun was just an ordinary human. Too beautiful. Gu Shengyin didn't say anything, but Yu Qingyun clearly saw the sigh in her eyes. After understanding her feelings, Yu Qingyun had been thinking about how to enter the other party's heart. He thought of many ways, but in the end he still chose this one, to let the other party clearly feel how much effort he had put in for him. In fact, he didn't even need to say it out loud. As long as the other party wanted to, he would definitely be able to sense how much he had done for him. As long as you like it. This was the umpteenth time today that Yu Qingyun had said this sentence. Chapter 1653. Gu Shengyin only smiled. "Brother Yu, you're so good and romantic, how could she not understand your feelings?" Yu Qingyun smiled lightly. "Really? I hope so." The two quietly enjoyed the scenery in the cool summer night for a while. In the end, Yu Qingyun proposed to send Gu Shengyin home. Gu Shengyin's expression revealed a strong reluctance. In the hot summer, resting in such a place was more comfortable than any air-conditioned room. Yu Qingyun naturally saw her reluctance. He smiled and said, "When you're free, you can come often." He thought for a bit and added, "You can bring Qingyue with you. That way, you won't be bored alone." The last sentence was obviously because he was afraid that Gu Shengyin would be embarrassed alone. In the car, Gu Shengyin said to Yu Qingyun apologetically, "I'm really sorry. I heard from Qingyue that you're usually very busy, but you wasted so much time with me today." Yu Qingyun shook his head. "How can it be considered a waste? I'm also very happy. Just treat it as a vacation for myself." When Gu Shengyin was about to reach home, she received a call from Mo Zhongliang. When he heard that his daughter was about to reach home, he specially went to the gate to pick up his daughter. Then he saw Yu Qingyun, who got out of the car to open the door for his daughter. Mo Zhongliang. He saw the man he couldn't afford to offend acting intimately with his daughter. He even personally walked in front of him and called him uncle. Mo Zhongliang heard his stiff voice say a few words to the young master of the Yu family. Then he and his daughter watched Yu Qingyun leave. After Yu Qingyun's car left, Mo Zhongliang and his daughter entered the house together. How do you know the young master of the Yu family? Mo Zhongliang seemed a bit worried. He was a simple businessman and had almost no business dealings with the Yu family. But to establish a foothold in Chuannan City, other than having a business mind, they also needed to be well informed. For example, they needed to know who they couldn't afford to offend. The Yu family was categorized by Mo Zhongliang as one of the most untouchable families. Whether it was in the government, in the dark, or in the business world, the Yu family had its own huge network of connections. If he accidentally offended such a colossus, he might not even know how he died. The Yu clan was much younger than Qin Yun. Although Mo Zhongliang had not interacted with him before, he had seen him from afar at some banquets. He definitely would not be mistaken. As a father, Mo Zhongliang didn't want his daughter to come into contact with such a dangerous person. Hearing Mo Zhongliang's words, Gu Shengyin replied, "His sister, Yu Qingyue, is my good friend. I got to know brother Yu through Qin Yu." Hearing his daughter's words, Mo Zhongliang's heart calmed down a little, but he was still a little worried. Looking at the first young master of the Yu clan, he was a little too close to Yen. Gu Shengyin looked at her father's worried expression and comforted him with a smile. "Father, don't worry. I've met brother Yu once. He's very easy to talk to. We're kindred spirits, so our relationship is a little better." She pointed at herself. "Your daughter is now a normal boy. Are you still worried that I'll be raped?" Mo Zhongliang heard this and laughed. Well, he knew that Yen was a girl, but others didn't. He was probably worrying for nothing. Chapter 1654. After the holidays, Gu Shengyin went to school. When she walked to her desk, she saw a pink letter on it. Qin Jun, who was sitting next to her, looked envious. "I'm the earliest in our class, but this letter was already on your desk when I came." It meant that he didn't know who sent it. Gu Shengyin put her school bag aside, gently opened the letter, and read it from beginning to end. It was a very beautiful handwriting, describing the delicate and affectionate thoughts of an adolescent girl. After Gu Shengyin finished reading, she took out a pen and wrote a paragraph at the back. "Thank you for your love, but I already have someone I like. There are plenty of fish in the sea. You can study hard and get the admission letter of a famous school next year. At that time, you will find that compared to the outstanding boys around you, Mo Bei, who you liked before, is just a slag." Gu Shengyin couldn't stop him. Chen Jun glanced at it while drinking water, and this glance almost made him choke to death. Chen Jun looked at Gu Shengyin with admiration. "I say, brother, you are so cruel. If you don't like it, just reject it. Do you have to be so self-deprecating?" Gu Shengyin carefully folded the letter and put it back into the envelope. She said seriously to Chen Jun, "Every girl deserves to be cherished, let alone the sincerity of a young girl. And I'm right. When she goes to university, she will meet more and better boys." Chen Jun heard her words and suddenly froze. After a while, he sighed with emotion and gave Gu Shengyin a thumbs up. "Bei, you're really... I admire you," he said with a smile. "Listen to what you said, this tone, this consideration. No wonder you are so popular with girls. If I were a girl, after hearing what you said, even if I don't like you, I would want to be friends with you. Who wouldn't want to be friends with someone who really respected and cherished them?" Chen Jun turned his head and looked at his deskmate, who took out an English textbook and began to memorize words. Her skin was as white as jade, and the side of her face was delicate and flawless. Chen Jun's face turned red as he watched. He quickly turned his head and silently recited, "I'm a straight man," 3 times before he suppressed the sudden impulse in his heart and began to study. During breakfast, as expected, Yu Qingyue came again. She pulled Gu Shengyin and looked at her with a gossipy face. "Did my brother come to you yesterday?" There was nothing to hide and many people had seen it. Gu Xingyi nodded. Yes, your brother took me to a villa to see the lotus flowers. They were really beautiful. Did you have something to do yesterday? Why didn't you come with us? Yu Qingyue. She really wanted to go, but if she was so blind as to be the third wheel at her brother's date, wouldn't she die miserably? Thinking of her brother's smile that made people shiver uncontrollably, Yu Qingyue said quietly, Yes, I happened to have an appointment with someone that day, so I couldn't go with you. Gu Xingyin heard this and sighed regretfully. That's a pity. It's really beautiful, whether it's day or night, especially at night, when those fireflies all rise up, it's simply stunning. A trace of envy flashed across Yu Qingyue's face as she listened to her description. She had been to her brother's villa before, but at that time, it wasn't summer and it wasn't night, so she had never seen the beautiful scenery that Gu Xingyin described. Chapter 1655. Gu Xingyin looked at her and couldn't help but say, It's okay. We can go there next time. Your brother said that he doesn't have time to play. You can take me with you. When Yu Qingyue heard this, she sighed in her heart. Who is the real sister? However, when she heard Gu Xingyin mention the lotus pond, Yu Qingyue remembered something. Yu Qingyun bought the villa a few years ago. When they saw the natural lake, many people said that they could do something. However, Yu Qingyun didn't listen to any of their suggestions. He invited people to plant lotuses in the lake. Yu Qingyue went there with her brother a few times. Every time, she saw her brother standing quietly by the lake. He didn't do anything or say anything, but Yu Qingyue always felt that her brother's back looked very lonely. Sometimes, Yu Qingyue would have a ridiculous thought in her mind. For example, her brother planted the lotuses specially for someone. He was just waiting for that person to enjoy the beautiful scenery with him. However, every time such a thought came to her mind, Yu Qingyue would dismiss it. How could someone like her brother do such a thing? In Yu Qingyue's heart, her brother, Yu Qingyun, was a man who was almost perfect in all aspects except for love. How could a man like him do such a thing like a Casanova? However, when she heard Gu Xingyin's description today, that strange thought came to Yu Qingyue's mind again. Perhaps her brother had really been waiting for someone all this time. That person might be Mo Bei. Although it sounded really ridiculous. Yu Qingyue had to admit that her brother was like a completely different person when facing Mo Bei. The things he did were also different from usual. Yu Qingyue didn't think about it carefully before. Now that she thought about it, the Yu Qingyun mentioned by Gu Xingyin was actually completely different from the Yu Qingyun in the eyes of others. She used to think that her brother was pretending in front of Mo Bei, or that Mo Bei couldn't see her brother's true colors clearly. However, now that she thought about it carefully, maybe the truth was that her brother was really like that in front of Mo Bei? Yu Qingyue exhaled. Somehow, he felt as if he had discovered something incredible. Gu Xingyin looked at the girl in front of her and couldn't help but ask, Qingyue, what are you thinking about? Yu Qingyue came back to her senses and stared at Gu Xingyin without blinking. So, maybe Bei hated her future sister-in-law? Yu Qingyue blinked and thought about Gu Xingyin's age. She couldn't help but sigh again. Her brother was really a beast. He wouldn't even let an underage girl go. After hearing Gu Xingyin's words, she coughed dryly and said, I was just wondering why my brother treats you so well. Even as a sister, I feel jealous? She shook her head as she spoke, but her eyes were fixed on Gu Xingyin as if she was waiting for her reaction. It was true that her brother liked Bei Yi, but what about Bei Yi? What did she think of her brother in her heart? Gu Xingyin was stunned for a moment and laughed. Yu Qingyue, you're actually 7 and not 17, right? I'm an outsider. No matter how close I am, how can I compare to you, his biological sister? How can this make you jealous? Chapter 1656. She said this naturally, as though she did not understand what Yu Qingyue was implying. Yu Qingyue sighed. That's different. At least, my brother has never taken me out to experience any surprises or to see fireflies. Gu Xingyin was speechless. Gu Xingyin thought carefully. Maybe he thinks you don't have the taste? Yu Qingyue was speechless. She stared at Gu Xingyin with a pained expression. You've changed, Bei. Really? You're no longer the caring and gentle Bei I used to know. Gu Shengyin did not want to play along with this girl at all, so he exposed her ruthlessly. I'm sorry, but I've never been caring and gentle. Yu Qingyue sighed and said to Gu Shengyin, Bei, you can't look like this now. Do you want to look like this for the rest of your life? Both of them knew what she meant by, look like this. Gu Shengyin shook his head. Of course not. I've told you before that there's a special reason for this. I'll look like a girl again in the future. Yu Qingyue's eyes lit up. Really? Gu Shengyin nodded. Of course. When will you look like this again? Yu Qingyue was very concerned about this. She muttered, look at you now. All the people who like you are girls. It's impossible for you to like them back. What if you fall in love with someone and that person sees you as a boy and treats you like a brother? Gu Shengyin laughed. You're thinking too much. I won't fall in love before I solve my own problems. Yu Qingyue asked secretly, it can't be, right? Haven't you fallen in love with anyone after all these years? Gu Shengyin thought carefully about Mo Bei's memories and shook his head. Mo Bei couldn't even take care of his own problems in the past. How could he have the time to fall in love with someone else? Yu Qingyue finally got the answer she wanted. She sighed in her heart. Her brother still needed to work hard. Gu Shengyin said, class is about to start. If you don't leave now, you'll be late. Yu Qingyue looked at the time and quickly said, okay, I'll go first. Remember, if you want to go to that villa in the future, remember to bring me along. Gu Shengyin waved at her. When she returned to the classroom, Gu Shengyin was not surprised to receive envious gazes. Chen Jun winked at her. Not bad, the campus belle comes to see you almost every day. Gu Shengyin was too lazy to explain. She just smiled when she heard this. Yu Qingyue realized that once she accepted the fact that Mo Bei was her future sister-in-law, she actually found it quite cute. Anyway, she had a good relationship with Bei. Rather than letting her brother find a sister-in-law whom he was not familiar with or even on bad terms with, Mo Bei, who knew her well, was obviously a better choice. As for whether or not her brother could take down Mo Bei, Yu Qingyue shrugged her shoulders and said, that would depend on his ability. Chapter 1657. Yu Qingyue was speechless. She silently swallowed the food in her mouth, not daring to provoke her brother again. Yu Qingyun calmly placed the chopsticks in his hand on the table and took out a clean pair. He asked softly, what did you just say? Yu Qingyue looked innocent. What did I say? I think Bei will definitely like you since you're so handsome, considerate, gentle, and nice. Yu Qingyun chuckled and did not say anything else. Yu Qingyue finished her meal in fear. Then, she quickly found an excuse to sneak back to her room. Oh my God, her brother was too scary. She decided to mourn for Bei Yi, who had caught his eye. That night, Gu Shengyin received a message from an unknown number. Good evening, Bei. She glanced at it and pretended not to see it. Soon, she received a second text. I'm Yu Qingyun. Gu Shengyin came out of the bathroom after washing her face. When she saw the text, she replied, Good evening. She was a little confused. Why was Yu Qingyun texting her so late at night? However, Yu Qingyun did not send her another text. Gu Shengyin waited for more than 10 minutes, but she did not receive any reply. So he texted her so late at night just to say good evening? Gu Shengyin thought, I don't know what you're trying to do. Gu Shengyin did not receive another text from Yu Qingyun until bedtime. The next morning, when she was about to leave for school after breakfast, her phone rang again. It was Yu Qingyun again. The text was simple. Good morning. Gu Shengyin did not know whether to laugh or cry as she replied with a good morning. Not long after she left, she met Yu Qingyun. Gu Shengyin was used to waking up early because her house was not very far from her school. She usually did not ask the chauffeur to send her to school. Instead, she chose to walk slowly to school. This gave a man a chance to get close to her. Yu Qingyun's car happened to be by the side of the road and honked at her. Gu Shengyin looked at Yu Qingyun in surprise. What a coincidence. Good morning. Yu Qingyun said, Good morning. I happen to have a project to discuss here today, so it's on the way. The driver in the driver's seat. So this is the reason why young master had to take such a long detour early in the morning? Gu Shengyin didn't expose him. She just smiled and expressed her understanding. Yu Qingyun looked at her and said, "Do you want me to send you to school?" Gu Shengyin shook her head in refusal. "I'm used to walking to school. I can also exercise my body." Unexpectedly, in the next moment, Yu Qingyun immediately said, "All right then." Then, Gu Shengyin saw the car stop and Yu Qingyun, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, got out of the car. Gu Shengyin was surprised. "What are you doing?" Yu Qingyun smiled. "Anyway, it's still early today. I'll learn from Bei Yi and walk for a while. I can also exercise my body." Gu Shengyin, she could only smile. "Okay, as long as you're happy." Chapter 1658. The two of them chatted as they walked. Yu Qingyun pretended to ask casually, "There must be a lot of girls in school who like a handsome boy with good grades like you, right?" Gu Shengyin blushed when she heard the question. She denied it flatly. How could there be such a thing? Yu Qingyun looked at the thin layer of pink on her fair skin. It was very beautiful, but it made his mood a little gloomy. Because from what he understood, the person in front of him became like this because she was shy. And the reason for her shyness was because she liked him. He suppressed the unhappiness in his heart and said casually, "What's there to be embarrassed about? For a man, being liked by a lot of girls is something to be proud of. I heard from Qin Yu that you received a love letter yesterday." He said those words because he wanted to get more information from Gu Shengyin, but he did not expect that Gu Shengyin's focus was completely different from his. Yu Qingyun had just finished speaking when he saw the girl beside him looking at him with burning eyes. Gu Shengyin looked at him. "Brother Yu, you have a good family background. You're handsome and gentle. There must be a lot of girls who like you, right?" Yu Qingyun was stunned for a moment. He clearly didn't expect Gu Shengyin to suddenly ask such a question. He thought for a moment and replied, "I don't know." Gu Shengyin's face showed that she didn't believe him. "You don't know? How can you not know whether people like you or not?" Yu Qingyun said seriously, "I'm not lying to you, Bei. I've always been a narrow-minded person. If it's someone I care about, I'll take care of everything for them. I'll even care about their matters more than they do themselves. But if it's someone I don't like, I won't care about any of their thoughts at all. So those women, whether they like me or not, I don't care at all. Why would I have the time to think about their thoughts?" He did not hide his cold side in front of Gu Shengyin, which he had never shown before. To Yu Qingyun, one day he would show his true face in front of Mo Bei. It was impossible for him to play the role of a gentle and considerate gentleman in front of her for the rest of his life. The only thing he needed to pay attention to was how to express himself. Gu Shengyin could feel that Yu Qingyun was looking at her very seriously when she said those words. She would subconsciously follow the other party's words, and then think about the interactions during this period of time. Then, she would discover that she was the type of person that Yu Qingyun said he cared about. Then, Yu Qingyun noticed that Gu Shengyin's ears had turned red. Because of what he had said. He was very satisfied with the effect of his words. "Take your time." He told himself that a direct confession would frighten him. She wanted to enter his world bit by bit so that he would know how good she was to him and get used to having her by his side. He would use his patience and tolerance to weave a net around him. From loose to tight. When the prey was completely used to the existence of the net and was completely defenseless, it was time for the hunter to reel in the net. He would slowly savor his most delicious prey. The journey wasn't far. Soon, the two of them saw the gate of the school. Gu Shengyin turned to say goodbye to Yu Qingyun. "Thank you for accompanying me on this journey." "Goodbye." Yu Qingyun looked at her quietly. "Goodbye." Chapter 1659. He stood where he was and watched Gu Shengyin's figure mingle with the other high school students who were also wearing school uniforms. Finally, they disappeared into the white school gate. Yu Qingyun turned around and sat back in the car. "Young master, where are we going?" "To the company." The driver didn't dare to ask anything. He turned the car around and drove back the way he came. Gu Shengyin also received a reply from the system. "I knew it." The system didn't understand. "Host, why didn't you say it when you knew that the other party likes you and you like him?" Gu Shengyin looked at the system and said slowly, "Reserved. Girls need to be reserved, Understand? System. It understood what being reserved meant, but did the host have that? Then it heard Gu Shengyin ask, "The key is, what is my identity now?" School hunk. As a boy, how can I confess to a man? Gu Shengyin concluded, in short, before Mo Bei becomes Mo Beiyan, I can't have any relationship with anyone. As for whether Yu Qingyun liked men or women, the system had checked before and concluded that it didn't know. After all, the young master of the Yu family was famous for not getting close to strangers. No matter if it was a beautiful girl or a handsome young man, no one had successfully stayed by his side. Gu Shengyin didn't doubt that at all. To her, not to mention her gender, even her race wasn't that important. After all, she wasn't a real human, so she didn't care much about these things. She could tell that Yu Qingyun was planning to boil a frog in warm water. She didn't mind playing this kind of half-nurturing game with her lover at all. It was just for fun. As the saying goes, the eunuch is more worried than the emperor. Yu Qingyun was full of confidence and Gu Shengyin was confident. Only Yu Qingyue, who didn't know anything, was stuck in the middle and worried for the two. Gu Shengyin felt that Yu Qingyue was a good sister. Although this girl usually complained about her brother in front of her, she had been praising her brother both openly and secretly during this period of time. Gu Shengyin guessed that she must have seen through her brother's intentions and wanted to matchmake the two of them. In the eyes of the onlookers who didn't know the truth, the relationship between the school hunk and school belle was really good. They were so sweet that they had to meet every day. They didn't even let go of their mealtime. Gu Shengyin and Yu Qingyue both knew about these rumors. They also knew that it was useless to keep explaining. People would always believe in their own eyes. They also didn't believe that a man and a woman would meet and eat together every day just because of friendship. Since the two of them didn't care, the rumors slowly died down. After all, when those people saw that the two protagonists in question did not have any reaction to this, they felt that it was meaningless to spread the news. Chapter 1660. Gu Shengyin looked at her and asked, "Why are you asking this all of a sudden?" Yu Qingyue stuck out her tongue and said, "I heard a few girls in my class talking about you today. They said that their ultimate dream is to find a handsome and smart genius like you." Yu Qingyue sneered in her heart. "I'm sorry, but your ultimate dream is just a dream. Because Bei is my brother's." Every time Yu Qingyue heard the girls in her class talking about Mo Bei, she would feel a sense of superiority. She felt like she was the only one who was sober when everyone was drunk. "You don't know, right? Haha, the handsome and smart genius in your mouth is actually a girl just like you." Back to the topic. Gu Shengyin shook her head when she heard Yu Qingyue's question. "I haven't thought about it." Yu Qingyue was surprised. "Are you serious? You haven't thought about it at all?" Gu Shengyin was very sure. No. Before she came, Mo Bei did not have the time to think about these things. By the time Gu Shengyin came to this body, she already knew what her other half looked like, so there was no need for her to think about it. Yu Qingyue was happy and worried when she heard her words. She was happy that her friend did not seem to like anyone. In this case, her brother still had a good chance. She was worried because Mo Bei did not seem to understand the relationship between a man and a woman at all. Her brother still seemed to have a long way to go. Gu Shengyin did not know what Yu Qingyue was thinking. If she knew, she would definitely say, "Girl, you are really thinking too much." Yu Qingyue looked at the lonely girl who lowered her head and ate seriously. She thought for a while and finally could not hold back. She asked tentatively, "Bei, what do you think of my brother?" Gu Shengyin thought to herself, "It's finally here." Yu Qingyue had said so much in the beginning, but her real purpose was to ask this question. She swallowed the food in her mouth and looked at Yu Qingyue. "Your brother? He's very nice." Yu Qingyue looked at her clear glass-like eyes and felt a little helpless. When she did not know that Mo Bei was a girl, she loved her eyes the most. Of course, she still liked it now. However, when faced with this kind of problem, when she mentioned her brother, there was still nothing in her eyes. It was very awkward. If she was interested in Qin Yun, she wouldn't be so natural, right? However, Miss Yu would not be defeated by these setbacks. She probed further. "I'm asking you, do you think a man with my brother's personality is suitable to be a boyfriend?" Gu Shengyin analyzed seriously. I met Brother Yu this morning. He said himself that if he really cares about someone, he will definitely do his best to plan for her and think about everything for her. If he has a girl he likes, that girl should be very happy, right? Yu Qingyue never thought that her brother would actually say such mushy words. She really didn't expect that her brother, an old virgin who had been abstinent for 10,000 years, could actually say such words of love. Yu Qingyue suddenly felt that she was a little redundant. Judging from her brother's appearance, it was obvious that he had made sufficient preparations. Yu Qingyue looked at Gu Shengyin differently when she thought of how her brother had put in so much effort for the person in front of him. She had never encountered anything that could make her brother put in so much effort. Yu Qingyue felt that calling Mo Bei, sister-in-law, was something that was set in stone. Chapter 1661. Yu Qingyue stared at Gu Shengyin without blinking. She was a little curious. What did her brother like about Beiyi? Of course, she thought that Beiyi was a very nice person, but after all, her brother and Beiyi had only met a few times. They did not have much time to develop feelings for each other. If it was because of his looks, Yu Qingyue admitted that Mo Bei's looks were indeed the best she had ever seen in her life. Whether it was a man or a woman, she had never seen anyone who could surpass Mo Bei in real life. But Yu Qingyue did not believe that her brother was such a superficial person. In the past, there had been people who claimed to be beautiful and recommended themselves to her brother. What did her brother do in the end? He ordered someone to throw that woman out. Literally, she threw the woman out. The reason was that the woman had touched her brother. It was obvious that her brother was not a person who would go easy on women. Ever since Yu Qingyue could remember, she had never seen her brother act so intimately with any woman. She had once thought that her brother would never find a partner in this lifetime. Who would have thought that he would suddenly say that he liked her best friend? Gu Shengyin felt a little uneasy under Yu Qingyue's gaze. She coughed softly and asked, "What are you looking at?" Yu Qingyue replied instinctively, "I'm looking at why my brother likes you so much." Gu Shengyin was speechless. Yu Qingyue also realized that she had said what was on her mind. She quickly added wittily, "I'm just jealous. My brother treats you better than he treats me. People who don't know better would think that you are his biological brother." After saying this, Yu Qingyue felt that she was indeed very quick-witted. Her ability to react on the spot? It could not be better. Gu Shengyin was speechless for a moment. In the end, she chose not to expose her. However, Yu Qingyue clearly did not know how to restrain herself. When the two of them walked out of the restaurant after dinner, she suddenly looked at Gu Shengyin and said emotionally, "We are so close. My brother treats you so well. Why don't you just marry into my family?" After saying that, she looked at Gu Shengyin mischievously, looking forward to seeing her blush. However, before she could blush, Yu Qingyue was met with a cabotin. That's right, the person who pinned her against the wall was Gu Shengyin. Taking advantage of his height, Gu Shengyin wrapped the girl in his arms. She looked at Yu Qingyue, whose eyelashes were trembling nervously. She smiled and bent down. Their faces were very close to each other. If one were to look at them from a distance, it would look like they were kissing. Yu Qingyue couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Her eyes trembled violently. Although she knew that the person in front of her was a girl like herself, this kind of posture still made her blush and her heart beat faster. What should she do? Gu Shengyin leaned over and whispered in her ear, "I don't think what you said is right. In my opinion, since everyone thinks that we are a couple and I am the man in everyone's eyes, why don't you marry into our Mo family?" Yu Qingyue felt his warm breath on her ear, and her sensitive area suddenly became hot. She felt that it was not difficult for her to breathe. Gritting her teeth, Yu Qingyue tried to calm herself down and pushed the person in front of her away. As if he had expected this, Gu Shengyin stepped back with the force. Before Yu Qingyue could react, she heard the other party's happy laughter. Chapter 1662. Yu Qingyue reacted at once. She pointed angrily at Gu Shengyin, her fingers trembling. "You did it on purpose." Gu Shengyin only laughed to herself. Yu Qingyue felt hurt. Where had the cold, devilish and gentle Mo Bei that she used to know gone. When Gu Xingyin had enough of laughing, she looked at Yu Qingyue, who had a pained expression on her face, and couldn't help but speak. Qingyue, if that's all you know, you'd better not tease others. Yu Qingyue then realized that Gu Xingyue had taken her probing words as a joke between friends. She felt a little aggrieved, but she couldn't say anything. She couldn't possibly say, "No, actually I wasn't joking just now. My brother really likes you and I also hope that you can be my sister-in-law." If she said something like that, others would think that she was crazy, right? Thus, she could only let this matter pass. However, the two of them didn't expect that although this matter was considered over between them, it would cause a huge uproar in the school. The scene of Gu Shengyin pressing Yu Qingyue down on the bed as a joke was taken by someone with a cell phone. The angle of the photo was very clever. Anyone who saw this photo would think that the two of them were kissing. It wasn't clear whether the person behind this wanted to target Yu Qingyue or Mo Bei. They had actually developed several photos and hung them on the bulletin board in the corridor outside the school gate that every student had to pass to get to school. This matter caused a huge commotion in the school. The form teachers of the two classes immediately got rid of the photos and called the two of them to the office. They also informed their parents. Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue stood in the office and listened to the form teacher of Mo Bei's class, who was over 50 years old, earnestly lecture them about the dangers of puppy love. As the form teacher of Mo Bei's class was more experienced, he was almost fully in charge of this matter. Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue's attitude was surprisingly consistent, which was to listen obediently. This made the form teacher feel much better. When the head teacher finally finished speaking and picked up the cup to drink water, Gu Xingyin said calmly, "Teacher, we all know that puppy love is wrong. But Qing Yu and I are really not a couple." The homeroom teacher almost spat out a mouthful of water. She had even said that this student's attitude was not bad, but she did not expect the drama to be like this. The photo was already on display, and the two of them were hugging and kissing. How dare they lie through their teeth? She frowned. Classmate Mo Bei, the best way to solve a problem is to correct your attitude and recognize your mistakes, not blindly running away. Gu Xingyin was still as calm as ever. "I'm telling the truth. Qing Yu and I are very good friends. In the photo, the two of us were just joking around. We didn't kiss. That photo was just taken from a clever angle." Yu Qingyue said with a cold face, "Teacher, Bei Yi is right. We weren't in a relationship and we didn't kiss. I, Yu Qingyue, am not someone who doesn't dare to take responsibility for my actions. If I'm really in love, I'll definitely say it out loud." The teacher hesitated when he heard this. The expressions on these two people's faces were too serious. Could it really be a misunderstanding? Yu Qingyue added, "Bei Yi and I are good friends. My family knows this. Teacher, my brother can testify to this." When she mentioned her brother, the form teacher's eyelids immediately twitched. Chapter 1663. For teachers like them who worked in a private school, the people they met the most were those with power and influence. However, power and influence were clearly divided into different levels. What kind of people could the school be unyielding in front of them? What kind of people could the school be arrogant in front of them? What kind of people could the school be subservient in front of them? Yu Qingyue's brother, the famous young master of the Yu family in Chuanen City, was the latter. Of course, these teachers didn't know what the Yu family really did. They had only heard countless times that they shouldn't provoke the Yu family. Thus, when she heard Yu Qingyue mention her brother, Gu Xingyin's form teacher felt a little guilty. However, she thought about it carefully. She didn't do anything wrong, and she didn't mistreat the student. What was there to be afraid of? Moreover, the parents had already been informed, hadn't they? Yu Qingyue was really angry at this moment. Although she looked sweet and cute, and she had a good personality in front of outsiders, she was still from a family of the underworld. How could Yu Qingyun really raise her sister to be a little white rabbit? Yu Qingyue just hid her fangs very deeply. Moreover, she hadn't encountered anything that could make her reveal her true nature. This time, this matter really offended her. It was fine if they targeted her, but the person behind it should never have released the suspected kissing photos of her and Mo Bei. Now, the whole school knew about it. Yu Qingyue didn't care if her classmates knew or the teachers knew. The scariest thing was that her brother would know too. Yu Qingyue looked very calm when she told Mo Bei's form teacher to ask her brother to come over. In fact, she was very scared. Not only was she scared, but she was also very scared. Thinking about the pair of chopsticks that broke in her brother's hand during dinner, Yu Qingyue felt that her tears were about to fall. If her brother saw those photos, she would definitely be hung up and beaten to death by her brother, not to mention the other things that would happen to her. The form teacher had a class next period, so she asked the two of them to reflect in the office. After the form teacher left, only Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue were left in the office. Yu Qingyue's previous stern and angry look disappeared. She turned her head and looked at Gu Xingyin pitifully, almost grabbing her skirt. "Bei Yi, if my brother comes later, you have to save me." Gu Xingyin. What's wrong? Tears of sadness rolled down Yu Qingyue's face. "If my brother sees us kissing, he'll beat me to death." Gu Xingyin thought about Yu Qingyun's expression and was still a little confused. "Qingyue, don't worry. When your brother comes, we'll have a good talk with him. That photo is fake." Yu Qingyue thought to herself, even if my brother knows that the photo is fake, our intimacy can't be faked. "I reckon I'll still be beaten up by him," Gu Xingyin continued. "Besides, if a normal brother were to get angry when his sister kissed someone else, he would usually beat up the person who kidnapped his sister. I'm not even worried, so why are you so worried?" Yu Qingyue's heart was filled with despair. She really wanted to grab Gu Xingyin's arm and shake it a few times before telling her the cruel truth. In her brother's eyes, it's not his sister kissing someone else, it's his wife being kidnapped. Yu Qingyue's heart ached. The most painful thing was that no one could understand her pain. Chapter 1664. Yu Qinyu had expected that her brother would arrive quickly. When Yu Qingyun arrived at the office, the class teacher was still in session. He pushed the door open and saw Yu Qinyu and Gu Xingyin chatting in the spacious office. The moment she saw her brother, Yu Qinyu stood up straight and revealed a perfect 8-tooth smile. "Brother, you're here." "Ha," Yu Qingyun didn't smile. In fact, it wasn't easy for him to maintain a calm expression. No one knew how he felt when he heard Yu Qinyu's class teacher telling him that his sister was in a relationship and receiving those photos. He was angry, disappointed, and irritable. Driving all the way here, it was not easy for him to suppress his fluctuating emotions. Seeing her brother like this, Yu Qinyu shrunk her neck. It looked like he was really angry. Yu Qinyu wanted to cry, but no tears came out. She thought to herself, "What's going on? I'm really innocent." She thought for a moment and looked at Gu Xingyin. "At a time like this, you do it." Gu Xingyin received her gaze and nodded. Yu Qingyun saw the interaction between the two and couldn't help but laugh in anger. "Very good." They were still flirting with each other in front of him. He said coldly, "Shouldn't you guys explain what's going on?" Gu Xingyin had been in this world for a long time, and this was the first time she saw such obvious anger on Yu Qingyun's face. She stepped forward and said calmly, "Brother Yu, this matter can really be explained. Yu Qinyu and I are just good friends, pure friendship. There's something wrong with these photos." Actually, at this time, with Yu Qingyun's brain, how could he not figure out that there might be a problem? He knew his sister well. She said that she didn't like Mo Bei and that they were just friends. That was most likely the truth. If Yu Qinyu really liked someone, she wouldn't hide it. But from this angle, even if it was just a fake, even if it was a clever shot, even if they really didn't kiss, this intimate posture was the truth. Yu Qingyun felt that he had to let Yu Qinyu know that she should keep a distance from Mo Bei. Hearing Gu Xingyin's words, he said with an unfathomable tone, "Oh?" Gu Xingyin didn't know if he believed her, but she had to finish what she had to say. "I have a very good relationship with Qinyu. In this photo, we were joking and talking about the capitan in idol dramas after dinner. I personally demonstrated it. That's all." Of course, Gu Xingyin wouldn't say that it was because Yu Qinyu wanted her to be her sister-in-law. As soon as she finished speaking, Yu Qinyu nodded vigorously. "Bei is right. Brother, the two of us are really innocent. Really more than anything else." Yu Qingyun glanced at her. I didn't ask you to speak. Yu Qingyue burst into tears. My brother doesn't love me anymore. She could only shrink back obediently. When Yu Qingyun heard Gu Xingyin's words, he already half believed her, but he still felt a little uncomfortable. After all, men and women are different. No matter how close the two of you are, you can't joke about such inappropriate things, he said coldly. Gu Xingyin was a little worried. There was really no way to explain this. She couldn't say that she wasn't a man and that she was a woman, right? In that case, it would make sense for her and Yu Qingyue to be so intimate. After all, no matter how close a man and a woman were, this kind of intimacy was indeed a little too much. Chapter 1665. Hence, Gu Xingyin could only nod obediently and admit her mistake, indicating that she would be more careful in the future. Yu Qingyue naturally nodded hurriedly as well. Nonsense. If she didn't express her stand now, she would probably be skinned alive when she got back. At this moment, the office door was opened again. Mo Bei's class teacher and her father walked in. Gu Xingyin immediately went up to Mo Zhongliang when she saw him. Clearly, Mo Zhongliang had heard about the situation from the class teacher. There was no anger in his eyes when he looked at his daughter. Instead, there was some worry. Others might not know, but as her father, how could he not know that Bei was a girl? When Gu Xingyin met her father's gaze, she could only go up to him and say softly, "Qingyue knows my identity." Mo Zhongliang looked at Yu Qingyue in surprise before he nodded. Since this was the case, he knew that it was probably just a small fight between girls. After greeting the two parents, the homeroom teacher briefly explained the situation. In the end, she concluded, puppy love is a very serious matter in our school, so the school would like to invite both parents to come over and deal with this matter together. As soon as she finished speaking, Yu Qingyun spoke up, "Teacher, it's still too early to say that. I've just talked to Qingyue and Bei Yi. This photo is clearly a malicious slander. They're very good friends, not puppy love." The class teacher was speechless. Mo Zhongliang naturally didn't want to fall behind when he heard that the other parents were so supportive. He quickly added, "That's right, teacher. Bei and Qingyue are just good friends. Someone must be secretly targeting them. The school must find out who this malicious person is. Otherwise, who knows if she will harm others." The class teacher was speechless. She had been a class teacher for so many years, but this was the first time she saw a parent who didn't praise or scold their children after seeing a photo of their puppy love. Instead, they righteously said that the photo was fake and that puppy love was fake. They must have made a mistake. How could they continue this conversation? The homeroom teacher really wanted to say that since the photos were already there, the two of them could just have a better attitude and admit their mistakes. The school wouldn't do anything to them. But when she met Yu Qingyun's calm but cold eyes, she found that she couldn't say such words. Yu Qingyun said, "I know that you won't believe our one-sided story, teacher." He stood up and said, "How about this? Give me one day. Tomorrow I will personally find out who is behind all this. At that time, you can see what the truth is." The homeroom teacher was so shocked by his aura that he was speechless. He could only agree in a daze. Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue also left the office. After staying in the office for so long, today's class was almost over. Gu Xingyin, who had always been willful, followed her father home, thinking that she would only be asked about gossip when she returned to the classroom. Yu Qingyue, who had never liked school, expressed that she loved studying. She still had one more class, and she wanted to attend it seriously. Unfortunately, she was heartlessly rejected by Yu Qingyun and dragged into the car. "Yu Qingyue, QAQ. Someone save me." Yu Qingyun looked at her sister in the front passenger seat and smiled. "Yu Qingyue, don't you think you should explain something to me?" Chapter 1666. Yu Qingyue shuddered. She said weakly, "I've already told you. There's nothing going on between Bei and me." She stared at Yu Qingyun with wide eyes and tried her best to look sincere. "It's true, brother. I don't have any improper thoughts about sister-in-law." "Sister-in-law?" Yu Qingyun muttered the two words softly. Yu Qingyue nodded. "That's right. In my eyes, Bei is my future sister-in-law. For the sake of her life, Yu Qingyue quickly sacrificed her integrity. Yu Qingyun seemed to smile a little. Yu Qingyue patted her chest, thinking that she had finally gone along with her brother's wishes. But the next moment, Yu Qingyun mercilessly pressed down on her. You know she's your sister-in-law, but you're still so intimate. Don't you know how to avoid suspicion? Don't you know that men and women should keep a distance? Yu Qingyue was speechless. She had 10,000 reasons to believe that her brother's main point was the first half of his sentence. As for the second half, if it wasn't Bei, her brother would definitely ignore it. Yu Qingyue knew that as long as she said that Mo Bei was actually a girl, she would be fine. After all, she and Mo Bei could be considered best friends. Her brother couldn't be jealous of two girls, right? But Yu Qingyue had to show that she was a person with a conscience. Although her integrity had been fed to the dogs, she still had to be loyal to her friends. Looking at Bei, she knew that she definitely didn't want to tell anyone her secret. How could she reveal it? Hence, Yu Qingyue admitted her mistake with tears in her eyes. After signing more than 10 unfair contracts, her brother was finally satisfied. Yu Qingyue clutched her chest as she lay in the front passenger seat. She felt like she had become a salted fish. She could almost see her clothes, bags, and jewelry fading away in the next 6 months. Yu Qingyun was simply a tyrant. Yu Qingyun looked at his sister and pursed his thin lips. If you want to scold me, say it loudly in front of me. Be careful not to choke. Yu Qingyue was speechless. She wanted to, but she was afraid that if she scolded him, she would have to eat grass for the next 6 months. On the other hand, Gu Xingyin followed Mo Zhongliang home. What's going on with that photo? Mo Zhongliang was a little worried. Gu Xingyin frowned. That girl, Qingyu, is my good friend. She is also the only one who knows my true gender. We were just fooling around. Gu Xingyin said, we didn't kiss and we're definitely not a couple. It's obvious that someone did this on purpose. If he didn't do it on purpose, how could he have taken such a picture that would make one's imagination run wild? The most despicable thing was that it was hung on the school's bulletin board. How much hatred did the person behind him have against him? Hearing this, Mo Zhongliang was also quite angry. Why are all the children nowadays so dark? How could there be so much hatred between you youngsters that you would do such a wicked thing? He looked at Gu Xingyin and said, Don't worry, Yin. I won't let you be framed for nothing. Gu Xingyin smiled and said, I believe in Dad. In fact, she was afraid that Mo Zhongliang wouldn't make a move. Yu Qingyun was obviously angry. When it came to investigating in the dark, a proper businessman like Mo Zhongliang would definitely not be able to compare to the Yu family. Sure enough, at night, Gu Xingyin received a call from Yu Qingyun. I've already found out who the girl who framed you and Qingyu is. Don't worry, I'll ask her to apologize in person tomorrow. There's still 6 more tonight. How about giving Qinfen Ji a ticket? Shy. Chapter 1667. Although Gu Xingyin knew that Yu Qingyun wouldn't let the person behind this off easily, she was still shocked the next day. A girl stood at the entrance of Chuannan First Middle School with a loudspeaker in her hand. She kept repeating the same words, I am Song Yu from Chuannan First Middle School's 2nd grade class 4. Because I was jealous of my classmates, I took fake photos and put them on the school bulletin board to ruin their reputation. I was wrong, I admit my mistake. Even though this girl named Song Yu didn't say who she was jealous of and framed, many people immediately understood what was going on when they combined it with the photos on the school bulletin board yesterday. Even if there were passers-by who didn't know the situation, a classmate would immediately tell her the truth. So the kissing photos from yesterday were fake? No wonder. Why would a normal person publicize such things? Some people could clearly see that Song Yu was holding a megaphone and repeatedly apologizing. Tears kept falling from her eyes. She felt ashamed and embarrassed. She really wanted to throw away the things in her hand and run away. But she didn't dare. At 10 o'clock last night, she and her parents were about to go to bed when a group of burly men in black suddenly barged into the house. Song Yu even saw that the leader was holding a gun. Meeting the frightened eyes of the whole family, the leader of the burly men only pointed at her coldly. You are Song Yu? You should know what you did during the day, right? Who gave you the guts to frame our eldest miss? Her parents still didn't understand what was going on and only looked at her in confusion. Song-yu originally wanted to pretend that she didn't know anything, but in the end, they directly shot the teacup on the table and broke it. Song-yu was so frightened that she cried out. She was just an ordinary girl from a well-off family. How could she have seen such a scene? The burly man was still threatening. I'll give you a chance now. Tell me what you did and why you did it. Otherwise, my gun is equipped with a silencer. When the time comes, even if I leave a few lives behind, I'm afraid no one will know until tomorrow. Song-yu's parents heard this and looked at their daughter in horror. They didn't understand why their daughter, who had always been obedient, would provoke such a person. Song-yu was scared out of her wits. Sobbing, she said what was in her heart. It turned out that she was also one of the girls who had a crush on Mo-bae. However, Mo-bae basically rejected all the girls that he confessed to. No matter how gentle her methods were, it was still a rejection. But Yu Qingyue was different. Everyone could see that Mo-bae and Yu Qingyue were a couple. Although they had never admitted their relationship, in the eyes of most people, especially those who liked Mo-bae, Mo-bae rejected them because of Yu Qingyue. Teenage girls were the easiest to fall into the wrong way of thinking, and it was also the easiest to fall into a dead end. As a result, Song-yu's love turned to hate. Holding on to the thought that if he couldn't have her, then no one else could, he began to hate this pair. Coincidentally, when she passed by the restaurant that day, she saw the two of them fooling around, so she took these photos from afar. Then, after school, when there was no one around, he walked into the surveillance camera's blind spot and posted the photos on the school's bulletin board. Sobbing, Song-yu said, I was thinking that, after something like this happened, the two of them definitely can't be together anymore. Chapter 1668. After the group of men listened in silence, the leader called Yu Qingyun and asked her how to deal with this matter. Then, this morning's incident happened. Song-yu even felt the disdainful gazes gathered on her body. She saw those people who she knew and didn't know pointing at her, and her heart felt so ashamed that she wanted to die. Now, the whole school knew that she, Song-yu, was a shameless and insidious girl who framed others. Her tears had not stopped since she rushed here before the sun had risen. Her father, who had always been strict, after understanding the situation, gave her a tight slap on the spot. All the things I taught you over the years, have you fed them all to the dogs? Song-yu remembered the words her father said in the car before coming to school this morning. Song-yu, no matter how unwilling you are, no matter how shameful you feel, you still have to go. Her father looked tired. Obviously he did not have a good rest last night. First, you have indeed done something that let others down. If you make a mistake, you have to apologize, you have to pay the price. This is a matter of course. Her father's expression was cold as he continued, Second, we can't afford to offend the Yu family and the Mo family. Especially the Yu family, Song-yu. If you don't want to have any accidents on the way to school tomorrow, you can choose not to go today. Song-yu listened to her father speak the cruel truth. She thought of those expressionless men in black, and the guns in their hands. She never thought that the always smiling and amiable Yu Qingyue in her class actually had such a big background behind her. If she knew earlier, she would never have dared to do such a thing. Song-yu's mind was in a mess, and then, she saw a familiar figure in the crowd. Mo-bae. The other party obviously saw her too. Song-yu immediately lowered her head. She did not dare to face Mo-bae. This was the first time in her life that she had been moved by a boy. He was the embodiment of all her hopes and fantasies about love. If possible, Song-yu hoped that even if everyone saw her hateful and dark side, in this boy's eyes, she was a normal, ordinary girl with a clean mind. At this time, she had completely forgotten what she had done before. If she hadn't been found out, this boy she liked would have suffered a lot of criticism because of her. Gu Shengyin looked at the girl standing in front of the school gate and listened to her mechanically repeating the apology. She suddenly understood what Yu Qingyun meant when she said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this." She had no intention of going forward to say anything. For this kind of thing, adding insult to injury showed that he was not cultured enough. As for magnanimous forgiveness, Gu Shengyin said, "Sorry, I'm not a saint. If I magnanimously forgive those who hurt me, then who will feel sorry for those who seek justice for me?" Therefore, she only swept a glance at Song Yu before walking into the classroom without looking sideways. Song Yu didn't raise his head until she was far away. She looked in the direction where the other party had left and could only see a tall and slender figure. Gu Shengyin could neither forgive nor fuss over it, but Yu Qingyue couldn't. Especially when Yu Qingyue thought about how she had lost her pocket money and freedom because of this, she hated Song Yu so much that her teeth itched. Chapter 1669. Yu Qingyue was sent to school by the chauffeur. When she got out of the car at the school gate, she saw Song Yu standing there confessing. Speaking of which, she was the one who came up with this punishment. When her brother understood the situation, he gave her the right to choose. Yu Qingyun thought that Yu Qingyue was the victim in this matter, so she had the right to choose how to repay the person who hurt her. This was Yu Qingyue's answer. What Song Yu wanted was for her and Bai Ye's reputation to be ruined. Then, she would do the exact same thing and even pay them back tenfold. Of course, this was only the most direct form of revenge. In private, Song Yu's parents would definitely lose their decent jobs in Chuanan City. This school would also not allow a student like Song Yu, who had a flawed character, to continue studying. There were many students around who were not in a hurry to go to class and were watching. When they saw Yu Qingyue, many of them were a little excited. Actually, when Gu Shengyin arrived, many of them were very excited and thought that there would be a good show to watch. However, it was obvious that Gu Shengyin did not intend to be a joke. Yu Qingyue was different. She did not care about these things. In fact, as the eldest daughter of the Yu family, there were not many things that she cared about. She walked straight towards Song Yu. When Song Yu saw Yu Qingyue, she could not help but shudder. In the past, she did not know about Yu Qingyue's background, so she did not think much of it. However, yesterday, she heard those burly men with guns respectfully call Yu Qingyue eldest daughter. At this moment, in Song Yu's heart, Yu Qingyue was equivalent to those ferocious burly men. Seeing Song Yu like this, Yu Qingyue was a little disdainful. She walked in front of Song Yu and said in a low voice, "Song Yu, is this how you behave? Where did the courage you had when you exposed the photos of me and Bai yesterday go?" Song Yu started crying again. "I'm really sorry, it's my fault. I shouldn't have been jealous of you, it's really my fault." Song Yu was not stupid. A 17-year-old girl already knew how to think. Although she did not know how big the Yu family was, she only saw the tip of the iceberg. She knew that if Yu Qingyue wanted to kill her, it would be as easy as squashing an ant. Yu Qingyue said impatiently, "Shut up. Don't cry, you're making me upset." Song Yu really didn't want to cry anymore. Yu Qingyue originally wanted to humiliate him, but when she saw Song Yu's frightened appearance, she instantly lost her interest. She looked at her with disgust. "All right, just do as I said and apologize here. Remember, you must let all the students in the school know what you have done. Morning, noon, after school, as long as someone passes by here, you are not allowed to stop." Song Yu didn't dare to object. Yu Qingyue carried her school bag and left, leaving Song Yu crying and apologizing under all kinds of gazes. This matter lasted for 2 whole days. In the end, the school couldn't stand it anymore. Because it was too big of a commotion, it almost alerted the media. The school barely managed to keep the matter under wraps. Then, the vice principal personally came to speak to Gu Shengyin and Yu Qingyue. What he meant was that it was enough and that they shouldn't make things too ugly. Yu Qingyue's anger had mostly dissipated, so she went with the flow and said that she would follow the school's wishes. It was just that she felt uncomfortable whenever she saw Song Yu. The school immediately said that Chuanan First High School couldn't afford to have such a student. In less than 10 minutes, Song Yu's fate was decided. Chapter 1670. At this time, Song Yu didn't know what she would face in the future. She naively thought that she had already apologized, so this matter could be written off. When her classmates forgot about this matter, she could go back to school and live a normal life like before. It wasn't until she was lectured by the teacher in charge of the teaching office, until her father and mother returned home with gloomy expressions, that Song Yu realized how serious the consequences of her inadvertent evil thoughts were to her family. Some people really couldn't be offended. She had never realized this as clearly as she did now. She cried and apologized to her parents. With the Song family's background, it took a lot of effort to send her to Chuanan First High School. But because of his ignorance, it was all ruined now. Her parents' jobs were ruined, and so was her studies. Her father, who severely punished her after learning of her mistakes, only gently stroked her hair at this time. There are some things that we can't control. It's good that you know you're wrong. No matter what you do in the future, you have to be careful and stay true to your heart. Our family is still here. We can start over again. This was an open-minded man. He knew that in Chuanan City, the Yu family couldn't cover the sky with one hand, but it was a piece of cake for them to pinch a small engineer like him. After discussing with his wife, Song Yu's father quickly sold the house at home, and the family moved to another place within a month. Moved away? Yu Qingyun asked. The buzz-cut man replied in a low voice, yes. Yu Qingyue praised, this man is a smart man. He nodded, since they're so sensible, don't bother about it anymore. There's no deep hatred, there's no need to be so ruthless. The buzz-cut man's expression became serious, yes, young master. Song Yu's matter was resolved, and the news that Mo Bei and Yu Qingyue were just good friends began to spread in the school. Speaking of which, this person was strange. In the past, Gu Xingyin had explained this matter several times, but no one believed her. But now, after the photo incident, Gu Xingyin and Yu Qingyue were still as close as ever. But everyone began to believe that there was nothing but pure friendship between the two of them. Gu Xingyin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But for Yu Qingyue, there was another layer of worry. Recently, more and more girls came to her to send love letters to Mo Bei. This was because everyone knew that she was close to Mo Bei and that they were not a couple. But Yu Qingyue didn't dare to take it. If her brother found out that she had helped those girls pass love letters to Bei, Yu Qingyue's heart ached as she clutched her wallet. She was afraid that her last bit of pocket money would be confiscated. In order to prevent a tragedy from happening, Yu Qingyue took the initiative to confess to Yu Qingyun when she returned home.